Oh, God.
Oh, my poor neighbors think I'm getting boned right now. Oh.
DADBOD. 3 years in the making, 20 songs, 20 videos, all for him. That little guy right there, my son, and my fellow partner in crime and fellow dad, because it is Father's Day weekend. We're recording this. You're not seeing this at that time though. But this is my creative and crazy partner in crime, Tobias Tinker.
That's me.
All right. If you want to know more about our background, you can do a Google search with the words Buddha and slut and podcast and The Piano Man Cometh, which goes into our history of creating stuff together and the roots of music and creativity and inspiration and all that stuff. But today, what we're going to do is shamelessly rip off an internet hit. Huh?
Because that's what
you do. What is it? Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Something like that.
We're stealing 6 of the key sauces. You might recognize some of your favorites if you know the show. If not, go check out First We Feast, Hot Ones. This is parody and it's sweet and we love you and it won't be monetized. But we're going to have some fun. And the point of this, if you don't know how this works, is that you go through a sauce and it gets increasingly hot. We also have 2 donated by a friend. We'll talk about him later. So we have 8 wings, 8 questions, maybe even a few more questions than that, to kind of like get us familiar with the album, the creative process, what we did over the last couple of years to make this, but also just kind of talk and chinwag and see how we survived. Because the joke was, okay, we can do this. We've traveled. We've done hot food before. We're cool. We're dads.
Are we though?
But exactly, we're not cool at all. And you're about to see it probably around here, definitely here, if you know the bomb, and burn your face off after eating. Yeah, there's that one too. So we've got some kefir, some milk product to cool our mouths. We have some beer and some more waiting. And cheers. Let's get to it. So number 1, this is Aardvark sauce. I think it's from like the southeast in the States. It's supposed to be a really, really kind of cool habanero-based sauce. Haven't tasted it yet. We got 1 wing each. So let's not touch our faces and let's do this and then let's have a conversation. So, yes,
all right.
Wait, towels.
Oh, yes.
Right. Ready, sir?
It begins.
These ones are extra juicy. Cheers. We haven't eaten much today either, so that was smart. A little bit of beer, but that's it. He took a 7 hour train ride from Berlin to be with me, which is nice. Okay. So, that's a little vinegar, a little tang, a little habanero.
Pleasantly
it's
fruity.
totally pleasant. There's a fruitiness to it, citrusy kind of quality. It's nice. I can see why it's so popular. So yeah, that's Aardvark. All right, so I could tell a story, but how about you do a quick abbreviated version? How did this whole album idea get started in the first place, kind of, and what was your involvement in the early stages?
Well, I'm already starting to cough. Some years ago, 3.
Yeah, he turns 4. This album comes out on his 4th birthday, July 7th. It was for his first birthday. Little guy was for his first birthday.
You were visiting at that point.
We were visiting, and I said I had a tune in my head.
And we pulled out I had a mandolin, which I don't actually play, but we tuned it up, and you figured out how to play the chords you wanted to play.
Basic chords. I had done some xylophone already.
Yeah.
Recorded a really rough vocal track when I was in Thailand.
That's right, on your
visiting you in Germany.
Whatever you had.
It's actually the only song. I'll probably play a little bit of video from it here. You won't hear much of it, but it was the only song where it was all natural instruments, right?
That's right.
Played real piano.
There's nothing synthetic on it.
No, the real mandolin. You did horn. Which horn was it? Was it
French
trumpet?
horn.
French horn. There was xylophone and
voices.
And it wasn't a bunch of crazy layered vocals like you do in like we did in some of the later songs in the album. This one was kind of raw. And you went, oh my God, man, this is like a Disney song. This is really, really sweet. People are going to be really touched by this. I had a tear in my eye. I'm like, you think? I'm like, people who didn't even know me and my boy? It's kind of like an origin story for him.
Because originally, there was no album
No.
conception. There was
No.
no goal to have a whole project.
It was something I'm
it was
wiping
kind of a
'cause
little one-off.
It's not because I'm a total puss. It is like 30 degrees here. So yeah, it's the sweat, it's the heat. Dutch houses aren't so good at the ventilation. So we're learning that. The point is, I was inspired by him to make more music, and I did so for his second birthday with you again. Another great song called Hey Ray. We'll get into that. But second song, I think, means second wing.
Second wing.
So let's get to it. So this is number two, and number two is from Canada, and this is Heartbeat Hot Sauce, a red habanero from Thunder Bay, Ontario. So, wing number two. Heartbeat, heartbreak, here we go. Okay, let's see. I don't know, it's supposed to be not so hot, but we'll see. I like the sweetness.
Very fruity.
Super fruity.
Like mango.
Mango-y.
Yeah, that's a very friendly sauce.
That's no issues with that. That almost was a little bit cooler than Aardvark. So yeah,
All
so
things
far
considered, I
so
would
far
say.
we're okay. Okay, so your turn. Ask a question. Let's see if we can answer it.
Okay. Why, of all the things you've done and studied in your life, with the through line being storytelling,
Narrative, yeah.
narrative, and pop culture, and film, and
Gaming and all that stuff. Yeah,
this
yeah.
other stuff. So why would you choose music? Why would you choose I mean, you're not. Don't take this the wrong way. You're not actually a musician, and like I think you are, but
I'm not a trained musician.
No.
I didn't pursue music. Sing a couple of bands, be in a few musicals. Yeah, but you're right. I wasn't. I understood the basics of music theory. I loved taking music in high school, but I didn't pursue it anywhere after that. And it's funny.
I know you always sung.
I know, but I never. I definitely not well. but the point is that I think that after my son was born, I was just so inspired. I was so inspired to move him. I wanted to reach out to him, and I'm not a talented guy with I can't build stuff with my hands. I'm not like mechanically inclined. I was so worried, like, would I be able to throw a football or do these things as he got bigger, do guy stuff, right? I could wipe his ass. I could sing him, I could tell him a story before he falls asleep. I could make goofy faces. But then I realized as I was driving him around the island every night to put him to sleep on the scooter in Thailand, I started to sing songs to him. And I just saw his reaction on his face right away, and I knew when I had something, and it was just coming from instinct, intuition, and I was improvising these songs, and some were folk, and some were pop, and some were rock, and some were punk, and some were hip hop. And when I landed on something that was good, that it felt kind of right, and he was like bobbing his head or going, "Yeah, daddy," or falling asleep and holding me tight, that's when I knew I had something. It just came in a flood, especially during the pandemic. All these songs just came flooding out. And yeah, that's why I pursued something, because I didn't have to be clever. I didn't have to prove anything to anyone. Maybe a bunch of you will love the album, because the songs are pretty freaking good. I'm thankful, so thankful, because they don't suck. It's a really great album. It's a huge concept album. I'm very proud of it. It's the second best thing I've ever made. The first, obviously, being The Boy. This is about making something from love for him that 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, he'll be able to look back and see the layers in it and hear them and hear the love that I had for him and go, holy shit, A, Dad really loved me, and B, he wasn't a total nerd after all. In the end, it just made me focus on something outside of myself. I just wanted to bring him some joy and to let him know that I loved him. So it was worth doing it. So thanks for asking, man. Wing number 3.
And then number 3.
Right. This is our friend Christian, the cool trumpet player. You can tell a super quick story about that. But he makes his own awesome hot sauces. This is cherry habanero.
And he grew the habaneros, and the cherries are from his trees. And so this is an entirely homegrown and homemade sauce. And
Okay, so let's eat up first. Get saturated. Let's eat up first, and then we'll try to answer a question.
Try to think of a question.
Okay. See, it's got a tiny little sting off of that. The cherry gives it this kind of deep note, like a kind of deeper sweetness than the bright kind of tropical sweetness.
Exactly.
Which is nice, and the habanero is now resting in the middle of the tongue. Yeah, it's there. Okay, bring out the Lucky Charm here. Whew. Okay, so we got 20. This is a great sauce. So we got 20 songs on the album. Technically, 18 original songs, and then there's a remix of the first one, Best Friend, and there's a cover song of Doors Day, right? Yeah, Doors Day, Que Sera Sera. And I did a kind of synthwave punk version of that, so that's fun. But okay, so you helped out with all, helped out with like some mixing and mastering on the bulk of them, but you really got your hands in there and got things dirty on a good handful of songs. Now, on those ones that you really dove into, what was your favorite and why? Well, because really, you look at it, you got Little Guy, you got Hey Ray, you got Mr. Mister, you got Flying. I know there's one more. Best Friend. So really, those are the five. That's the Tobias Mount Rushmore.
There's a lot in there, but I gotta kind of go with Best Friend because, and here's why.
We'll throw up some video of that.
It was not the easiest.
No, it was the hardest. You got the lead single, and here's the mandate I gave him. I'm like, okay, so there needs to be a single, there's got to be a hit, and not just like the punk
no
cover song.
No pressure.
Well, and the thing is, I kept seeing it as, I had the narrative in my head. It was like this Song of Summer sort of thing. And did a little bit of research, and 96 beats per minute or 98 or around the zone for a Song of Summer. And I really liked, I had this soft spot for the Canadian group Len, Steal My Sunshine.
Yeah.
And then there was Stevie Wonder's Superstition.
Which turned out to be almost at the same tempo.
The same tempo, and Raimi loves that song. He dances to it, one of his first real pop music favorites. And then there were others like Will Smith's Summertime and a few others that kind of fell in that zone. I felt like it was going to be something a little funky, a little pop, a little soulful, a little hip hop kind of together, but like very white guy, but that was okay because it was going to be earnest. And really it was this big story about like I knew the title right away, Best Friend, and I hummed out like that chorus a little bit, like Best Friend. And I remember I did that, I was sitting on the back balcony of the place in Thailand, and I said something like this, and you're like, oh, okay, and I'm like, and maybe here's a few drum loops that go off, and what do you see? I want to see what you come back with. I wanted to see where it would go.
I mean, it was a challenge for me. I'm not a pop musician. I play pop.
I'm not either.
I play pop music in shows.
Yeah.
And I like it. It's much harder to play simple music well.
It is the pop single of the album, and yet I think of it as the hardest song to make.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we just kept inching it forward, and then all of a sudden.
This was the other.
This is the other thing. He's going to tell this part because it was the only song that I was.
You were blocked on it.
I was scared.
I'm not used to that.
I get lyrics like I'm taking a wet shit. It's coming out.
Like,
shit from a duck's ass, as David Lynch said.
And this one was like you kept like you had a lot of feedback from me on form, and you wanted to get the form right, and you wanted to get it was like, okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere with the form, we're getting somewhere with music, and this is taking shape, but. You need to tell the story of how much you love him.
He said straightforward. He goes, the song is about how much you love him, which is why he's your best friend, the best friend you ever had. So why don't you tell that story?
Yeah.
And that's really what I did. I used to be distracted by other stuff, by like trying to be cool and trying to be hip and trying to get girls and whatever else. And then this love just cracked me open, and I'm singing about it. This is my best friend. I would die for him. I would do anything for him. And he knows it takes advantage sometimes. But I feel
That's
like
what best friends do.
I feel like a fucking transcendent Superman when he looks at me and goes, "Daddy, can you do this for me?" I'm like, absolutely. I feel 15
Can
years
you
old.
eat this wing?
Yeah, can you eat this? Hey, that's right. We're on number 4.
Number
4. Okay, here we go.
4 is
Cool.
4 is a thing in the album.
4 is a thing.
Count it down cause I'm keeping score. Turning 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So here we go. See, it's a real thing. Ah! They fell on the table. Oh, jeez, Louise. You can't plan that. You can't plan table sauce. So at the number 4 wing, halfway through, we aren't yet calling the
No emergency.
sauce police.
Yeah, we haven't needed to call any ambulance.
Oh, that's crisp and lovely. Okay, so. Again, this Canadian trend for sweetness, I kind of dig it. I love sweet heat. Ah, fuck, now my pants too. I've got a crotch full of sweet heat. Huh?
I see what you did there.
Full of sweet heat. Speaking of some ladies at work were like, I don't know why I said that. Speaking of, how was that a segue? But they're kind of like, you need to live stream this. And I'm like, no, only when we're suffering. Well, then do it then. So, This is the guy who makes the cool habanero stuff, and this is a hot paste. I had a tiny taste of it before. Oh.
Number 4 sneaking up on me.
Yeah, the Dawson's one.
It's friendly on the front end, but it's a little.
This is where I'm hoping he uses a sound effect. And that's a nice transition to something back to this, which is while we're here, and let me do the gun show again, to this. And the third song, the one that was originally slated for his 3rd birthday and kind of slid a bit, but I'm glad it did, and now we got real instruments in it, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Mr., which was one of my favorites, still is a dark horse favorite of mine. It's this weird, I always just label it as this like Romanian gypsy folk backyard song with a guy kind of singing a cautionary tale about how he got drunk and met a girl, and all of a sudden the oyster made a pearl, and oops, and then he had to give up his womanizing ways.
Next thing you know.
And the next thing you know, it was one of the songs I knew was magic because it came to me in one night. In one night, driving Raimi around the island, about a 45-minute slow loop around, drive slowly and put him to sleep. And it started as a lullaby. And I was like, once upon a time there was a man who thought that love was only for you. He looked up and smiled. And he traveled around the world just having fun and breaking hearts like window panes. I'm telling the story about me being a dick. but it made him happy. But what I really wanted to get to, the words just came, but I just wanted to get to Mr., and he'd smile and bob his head. And I remember after that night, I'm like, oh my God, there's song number 3. We have to do this.
I did this accordion intro, and that was my scratch track.
Let's see if we can
Sure.
continue to answer this while we continue.
Oh, while eating. That's the trick. The scratch track was the accordion, and the intro from that scratch track is still on the album.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
I never replaced it.
It's perfect.
It's rich and thick and chocolatey. You like this sauce? Man, that is good. This
good?
is Christian's pesto-y kind of.
This is the one that lingers.
It's like a hot pesto, hot red pesto. But
My
it's
lips
good.
Are numb and they're starting to swell.
You know, I'm just going to ask, how bad can it be?
We're about to find out. Jesus Christ. Here we go. Okay. Wing number 6. Good gosh. Ding ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, kids.
First mouthful, I can tell that's serious.
It's got a belly to it. Okay. Okay, so you talked about your favorite song to work on. We talked about some of the other songs. So, back to this, back to him, back to this whole experience. You had the core songs that you worked on, but now having helped to mix and master the entire album, a little bit of help from outside, but mainly it was on you. Surprised me. What was your favorite tune that really wasn't in your purview, like musically, wasn't like in front of your eyes, or that I sent to you and surprised you with? Yeah?
That's easy, because I had nothing to do with it. And it came to me kind of fully done, and I just sort of did the touch-up mastering on it. But Bumpy is the one.
Hey!
Bumpy is the one.
I thought you might say Shadowland, but Bumpy is not bad, right? It took you a while. I was wondering if you'd like it, because I was really proud of it.
There's 3 or 4 or 5 kind of pretty autobiographical tracks, one of which is One and Only, but Mr. But they're all different, and Bumpy is really kind of.
Isn't this hurting you at all? Oh man!
I'm not finding this one too bad.
Yeah, I'm feeling this thing on this one. This is making me a little scared. I'm not making a show.
I'm just trying to avoid the question.
I'm so scared of the autobiographical content. No, I'm afraid of fucking vomiting in front. I hope you believe this shit out right now. It's Yeah, I'm feeling this one right now. Oh, I'm scared of the next one. It is an autobiographical song. I just want to tell you the quick origins of it were the fact that we would, again, be on the bike. This was during the day when we would drive to go swimming or drive to the gym or drive to my house to play and go for a nap. And there were little speed bumps in places around, in more populated places around the island, so people didn't just zip by at high speed on their scooters. And Ray would just look at me like, Daddy, bumpy. And he wanted to go over the bumps. And I was like, are you sure? And one day I was like, are you sure? I just had this feeling. I'm like, are you sure? He goes, yes, Daddy, bumpy. I'm like, slow or fast? He goes, fast, Daddy. I'm like, okay, are you sure? And of course, I made sure to put my knees and just cover him up. But he was sitting on my lap. And we hit a bump, not crazy fast at all. Safe, but safe, but fast enough that he was like, wee, and we hit it. and he slipped, and he like was holding on, and of course I've got him, but he was scared because and he's like, Daddy, and we pull over, and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so do you want more bumpy right now? And he's like, I don't want more.
And there's a lesson in the thing that you
exactly
want that isn't what you thought it was.
And that's what the song was about. It was like I talk about in the lyrics. I hope you listen, but yeah, it's pretty autobiographical. It talks about some hardships and stuff, but it also talks about some moments where it's like I was kind of high on myself for a while. Look at me, I'm cool, I'm in the press, I'm making money, I'm down in Hollywood, isn't that awesome? But everything had a dark side to it. It's part of the road, and big shout out. Like, yeah, I made that one and grabbed some loops and did some stuff and composed little bits, but and did some cool vocal layering, which was totally fun. But it was, still think it's my pal Crizzy, it's Crystal Lee, who's vamping on that, puts it over the top, puts it square in old school 90s kind of Tribe, Double Soul, a little bit of like, you know, it's a cool little bonus B-side track that I think has a lot of layers to it and a lot of repeat listen value.
I've listened to it more than once.
Yes. Here we go. Okay, now, for the thing that I don't want to do more than once, here we go. So if you've never seen Hot Ones, you're a loser. I'm gonna, before we get to a point where I'm screaming and crying, whatever else, you know, Sean Evans, just screw you and your smug, bald, heat-enduring face, because this is the thing that makes people cry. We've seen, you know, everyone who taps out of the show. It's at
but
the number.
Do people really do that?
Oh, the first season. He hasn't seen as much as I have. And the first season, a couple like DJ Khaled, was it Coolio passed out?
Wow.
A couple of people like they couldn't handle it. It was so intense for them. I'm starting to scare them now too.
I get it, because when I hadn't had, you know, the first time that I went to Thailand, I had that experience where I was just like, oh my God.
So this is supposed to be that. And I guess we're about to find out. And
this is new. We haven't tried this before.
We have never tried this, never smelled it. We've heard the whole it's battery acid on a wing, and we're both in our 50s. And if one of us dies from this, I hope you will all buy the album on Bandcamp so Raimi can go to college. Okay, so here we go. This is cueing cool music. You better do some cool soundtrack stuff here. Because look at that, it's a nuke. It's the bomb.
Oh my God.
Beyond.
It has a nuclear.
Didn't you know that? That's the bomb, the Beyond Insanity. Oh shit. Okay.
All right. Only one way to do this.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime experience. Chin
I
chin.
might really get into it. Who knows?
Oh, that's an ugly flavor.
It's not pleasant. It's not in any way friendly in the way that some of the other ones were.
I can't believe you're just eating your way through that like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I would.
As a juicer, it's not something I would
eat for pleasure.
The thing is, here it comes. I can feel it because
me
on the show, it's like it's almost instant. But I guarantee you, they had this like 30 seconds that they edit into, and here it comes. This is the moment when we cut to test pattern.
I mean, I wouldn't say anything about it is pleasant or pleasurable. But
oh, that is chewing on rusty razor blades.
Yeah, that pretty much tastes wrong.
Huh.
I think I'm gonna survive, but
you might. Oh, my mouth. Can you get some more kefir from the fridge? I'm gonna need it.
yeah. Oh God.
Ow!
That's gnarly. That's truly gnarly.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Oh, my poor neighbors think I'm getting boned right now. Oh. Oh, I gotta Is there a live?
Okay, most of you don't know that we're doing a hot wing special with all these sauces, like the show that we're ripping off, Hot One, and we're recording it to promote the album. This is the one
Don't do this.
This is the one we just did. He's immune because he's not all human.
I'm a soulless automaton.
I am I am crying. I gotta run in circles now. This is
I just need to whistle inwards through my mouth.
This is all for the album. This is all for him. This is my cousin business.
Suffering for your art.
Okay, are you feeling anything? Totally, stranger Jay. Let's meet up somewhere. Miss you too, man. I had a heart attack already. How you doing? How are you doing? Oh, we did the whole wing. He really cleaned it.
I thought that's what you did.
I can't promote this shit anymore. Oh my God! I hope you are. May you. Oh, I got a white heart. May you all be entertained. So here we go. This is the last one. We're not doing some extra goddamn double dab bullshit. after what
everything
just
we've been
happened.
through.
Hi.
All
okay,
right.
so here we go.
Here we go.
Old and bold. 50 is nifty, but I'm 51 and almost done. He's not going to be 51 for a little bit, so young bastard. This is the end, my friend. Remember, if we can't respond after this, if there are technical difficulties, go to the channel, check out the trailer. July 7th, the album drops, 20 songs, a video a month, whole bunch of bonuses, and we made some badass music. And I made some badass music on my own too. We made some great stuff, and it was all for him, this little type right here. So, yeah. Cheers. And here's to you.
There goes.
Okay. Right off the bat, it's vinegary.
Yeah, it's very vinegary.
Vinegary is F.
It's way less unpleasant.
Oh, okay. That's not fun. We're going to be opening the windows here soon, letting in a fresh scent. So that was an
jumping
excuse
out
again
of
for me to say that I'm a dad, but look, I'm an amazing dad. What song do I want to, if we're going to cut out and say goodbye and thanks, what song should we end with? Because it's got to be something that you and I worked on together. Obviously, Best Friend is celebratory, but the thing is, they've probably already seen that video by the time they're watching this.
One and only.
That's actually kind of cool.
And shout out to Dave Ismail Patel on the drums for that. Hey, we should shout out to a few of the collabs.
Well, let's do that quick as we fade out, and you remember DADBOD. So that's Dave on One and Only, to Matt Miller, of course, Saccharin and Cyanide, and that's on Super Boo, and that's on DADBOD, the title track, which is a dope little punk track. We'll talk about that more later. And what was the other one? Oh, Shadowland. Wow. I used to perform that live, and what he did with that was happening in the background. Crystal Lee, we've already mentioned. Her Otherworldly Pipes, beautiful on Shadowland, on Bumpy, and on Best Friend. She nails that rise. And my buddy Andrew in the Ukraine, who saved our asses, saved mine specifically on two epic little short songs, When and the Que Sera Sera cover. Buddy, you rock. So from Fathers on Fire, our mouths are currently on fire. We're not going to try to drown that fire. Raise your glasses. Thank you so much. And cheers to you, beers to you. Check out the album DADBOD, Spotify, Apple, Pandora.
And don't do this.
If
you're ever tempted.
What we'd really like you to do is go to Bandcamp, all right, and support. There's tons of bonuses on Bandcamp, not just high-res versions of all 20 songs, but also some extra secret songs, a cool lullaby, a 7-minute lullaby called My Favorite Thing, based on a children's book I wrote. Actually, the ebook of The Cat's Mom, my first book, for anyone who pick it up and get it for free. It's
Bandcamp generally, support artists.
Support
Bandcamp.
So yeah, please do that if you can.
Great way to do
And spread the good word, nerd. Thank you. And more soon, just not like this.
No, never again.
Hear you breathing by my side. It's a secret that my heart can never hide. Can't believe it's been 3 years. Another lifetime and another kind of tears. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na. Take a slow drive round the aisle. People waving as they celebrate your smile. But how did all this come to be? All this joy that somehow started life in me. I didn't see that until now. I've been so lonely. But then you came, my pride and joy, my one and only. Watch you fall like in the sand. Fall in love each time you're reaching for my hand.